Hi, I'm Bob Dailey, and this is Gulf Coast Gardening with Nature's Way Resources. Hello, everybody. We're here with Mike Serant. Mike is the owner of MicroLife, and I'm sure many of you have used it and you're familiar with it. Mike, hello. Glad to be here.
Good morning, Bob. It's always a pleasure to see you, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about MicroLife in the organic way.
You're welcome. Tell me about MicroLife. I want to know about you and I were talking about mycorrhizal fungi and all kinds of bacteria and biotics in the soil. How does MicroLife help that?
Well, I would like to first give a shout out to John Ferguson, Nature's Way. John is one of my deep and best friends, and he and I have been writing organics for, I guess, 22 years now, right?
Right.
He's also a co-founder of OBA. And OBA, I mentioned that in conjunction with our conversation because
Right.
OBA, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, we bring in world-leading scientists that teaches the very latest in technology and in science and biology, soil medicine, human medicine. For instance, November 14th, 2018, we're bringing in Michael Phillips, the king of mycorrhizals. I encourage everybody to come. It's absolutely astounding. So the world of organics is probably the most exciting world that I can possibly imagine. It's deep, it's interesting, it's fun, it's exciting, it seems limitless. There's no end to what we're learning. And if we look at all the latest science that's coming out, it always involves organics in some form or fashion. And one of the greatest ways that involves science is the study of microorganisms. Now, we just recently found out about microorganisms in the soil around 1998, starting with the mycorrhizal.
Very recent.
Very recent.
Yeah.
But most interesting, in 2010, we found out about the human microbiome. And if you look at medical science for humans, where is it going? Where's most of the studies going into? It's the study of the gut microbiome, where we have trillions, should be, beneficial bacterium.
Right.
And these beneficial bacterium have the greatest influence on the way we think and our immune system. So interestingly, 70% of those microbes come from the soil. So if you have good soil microbes, they transfer into the human body. Healthy soils, healthy plants, healthy people. Going back to OBA, April 30th, 2019, we're bringing in Dr. Zachary Bush. And Dr. Zachary Bush is triple board certified. He is the awesome of the awesome medical researchers, and he will talk to us about the cellular communication that happens, even on a molecular level.
Sure. How
How the microbes are talking to our cells, and how those microbes originated from the soil. So everything that we're doing with MicroLife is 100% science-based, in addition to being ethically correct, economically the most feasible. So with that as a foundation, then what we do with organics, be it John's compost or the MicroLife line, or it should be with any products, is you always want to ask yourself this question: what am I applying to the soil? If soil is the foundation of civilization, if what I'm applying to the soil, is it good for the soil microbes and at the same time being good for the plants? So when we develop the MicroLife product line, that's our adage, that's what we do. And when we develop our spreadsheets, how we're going to build these things,
Right.
everything we put in there must be good for the soil and good for the plants. Now, being good for the soil means we have to feed the soil microbes. So if you can get on, look at our ingredients that we have in our bags, and everything's available on our website, you're going to find that we use the finest ingredients possible. You know, we're all about mission, not profits. We want to make the best quality fertilizer in the world, and I think we do. But then we take it an additional step further, and we add what we're going to call probiotics. Just like you may take probiotics every day to help
Sure.
your gut microbes get
Of
more
course.
numerous and prosperous. Every one of our granular products has probiotics as well, and we list every single species that we put in there. So we'll come up to a soil, we don't know if it's a healthy soil, a bad soil, a good soil, what kind of soil it is, we don't know, because MicroLife is just being sold, on thousands and thousands of acres every year.
Right.
So we want to put a product that's going to make the indigenous microbes become more prosperous, more numerous, improve the soil health of plants, and then we're going to add 76 different species of beneficial microbes, including the all-important mycorrhizal.
And I've always referred to soil as the living layer of earth. but I have seen so many soils in this whole area, in the whole Houston area, that's bereft of life. It has no microbes. It's compacted. You can't grow anything on it. People were worried about their lawns because they're turning yellow and they don't know why, and it's because the soil is compacted and there's no living organisms. Am I right in that?
No, I think you're 100% correct. We do a lot of business in Houston, Austin, Dallas. There is no prairies left.
Right.
When a person buys a home or a commercial developer takes ownership of a building, it's not good soil that they're working with. It's brought in fill dirt. It's compacted for engineering purposes. Sod is thrown down, beds are jumped in, and then the landscaper or the homeowner has now said, okay, take care of this the best you possibly can. And the problem is that unless they know how to do things, they may resort to using chemicals. And I think the reason why people use chemicals is because they don't know better in the amount of advertisement that's going on with the chemicals. But we don't want to use chemicals on our lawns no more than we want to eat fast foods for ourselves.
Sure.
If you eat fast foods, it may fill you up, but it's going to make you sick. Same thing with chemicals. So what you have to do is you have to breathe life back into the soil, and that is directly tied to the quality material that you're going to use. But I'll tell you this, I've seen thousands and thousands of really horrible soil situations, and if you just show Mother Nature a little bit of kindness, she responds so magnificently. So you can turn any soil around, make any soil, any plant just fantastic with the use of organics.
Mike, I see you've got a bunch of products back here. Can we get back here and talk about them?
Well, yes, sure, absolutely. You want me to
Mike, these are some bags of, looks like MicroLife. I know I've used some of this 624. Explain what these are.
Sure, happy to. They look like MicroLife because they are bags of MicroLife.
Well, that's
So this is part of our product line. We actually make about 35 different types of MicroLives. And if you go on our website, you can see all the different MicroLives that we make. Plus, we're going to give you the specifications on all of them. But for general use, especially coming in the fall, I brought 4 of our most popular products, and if I could explain a little bit of the reason why we're going to use these.
Of course, please do.
Okay, so the first product is MicroLife Humate Plus. I call this concentrated compost in a bag. If you need to get a lot of carbon into your turf grass and bed areas, this is a very wonderful and inexpensive way to do that. It goes through a broadcast spreader. It's very easy to put out. Carbon's the building block of all life.
Sure.
And so it's going to provide food for your indigenous microbes, the microbes that are in your soil. And then we're going to introduce 76 different species, again, the mycorrhizals. And so we've added a wetting agent to these products. And so that means if we go into the very hardest of soil, that wetting agent, which is made from yucca, is going to open up. And as the product melts, and all the granular products will melt, it'll go water soluble, get down to the root system, and that's where the action happens. So what I would like is for everybody at least to use Humate Plus at least once a year. Very inexpensive, very, very effective. We have azobacterium in there, which fixes nitrogen from the atmosphere. It's loaded with over 100 minerals. It's got some very specialized root stimulators and plant stimulators. Just an absolutely wonderful, wonderful product. Just use everywhere.
I do a lot of grass inspections, as you know, and I'm going to get some of this and put it in my truck because I want to show people how they can soften up.
Oh, that's right. It softens soil.
Soften the soil and add microbes to the soil.
Yeah. And the softening of the soil happens because the soil is being restructured, right?
Right.
We're taking those clay platelets and we're opening them up. And we have a lot of sports fields that are very concerned about injuries. And so the harder the soil, the harder it is on the kids or the adults playing the sports.
Sure.
So we want something that's going to kind of spring and get back to us. And that's a very fast and easy way, inexpensive way to do that. So the other product.
What is this?
This is MicroLife 624. And my mom was my business partner. We started manufacturing MicroLife in 1988. And this was the very first product that we came up with. And we tweak it technology from time to time. But for the most part, the base model we used in '88 is still the base model that we use today. It is our #1 selling MicroLife. It goes everywhere. Turf grass, sports fields, orchards, tomato plants, live oaks, begonias. I mean, just
anything
everywhere.
you can imagine.
Right. And I think it's important, if I could just pause a little bit about this MicroLife, but it's inherent with all of our MicroLives, granules and liquids. We're very, very big on minerals. And so all of our products are going to have over 100 minerals. Now let's go back to what Hippocrates said 2,500 years ago, the father of modern medicine, and that is, let food be thy medicine. And so if you eat strong, healthy, nutritional food, then you and I, everybody, are going to be stronger people. We're going to hit our optimum genetic potential with the least amount of problems. And that is true for humans, but it's also true for your plants. If you feed them well, they're just not going to have the problems that the chemical junk food fertilizing does for them.
Right, and so the chemicals, I know that, people track this stuff. I mean, there's stuff that people track into their house, the chemicals. They're going to get sick. Their pets are going to get sick. Their children are going to get sick, and the soil is going to get sick.
You're right. And there's chemical companies that will advertise that their chemical insecticide will last for 6 months or a year, and they say that like they're really proud of it.
That's scary.
It is scary.
That's scary.
That means there's a residual, non-selective poison on your turf or bed areas.
Right.
And like you said, you walk through it, your pets walk through it, gets inside the home. Now inside the home, there's no ultraviolet light, so it never degrades, okay? And so that toxicity just stays with the family. So we don't want to use chemical in any form or fashion. We want to stick with organics. Organics is the fastest growing trend. It'll always be true, and organics will always be true, because unlike chemicals, organics is the only system that follows natural law. And if we follow natural law, everything becomes easier. Like who are we to tell Mother Nature and creation what to do, right?
Yeah.
Let's try to understand her, and we'll find that if we do treat creation and Mother Nature well, she responds with great kindness and abundance.
Right.
So
and so our objective is to be good stewards of the land
stewards.
as well.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And since we are the environment, if you're not good stewards to the environment, you're not good stewards to yourself.
Right.
There's a science called biophalangy, and biophalangy is looking at the DNA coding in humans and in plants. And it's very interesting. It states that I have 70% common DNA with St. Augustine. Isn't that amazing?
That is
70%.
That's unbelievable, but it's true.
So if you think about creation, where did it all spark from?
Right.
And if it all sparked from the same source, then yes, it makes sense that we share DNA with all living creatures. So brown patch MicroLife.
Yeah, let's look at this. This is, I know there's a lot of problems with brown patch in this area.
It can be, yes.
Yeah.
And so going back to the compacted clay soils,
yes,
they don't breathe. That creates an anaerobic soil condition, which means that you're going to have your anaerobic diseases like brown patch dominate.
Right.
People tend to overwater way too much, and we're approaching the fall equinox, which means that there's less heat, less light, and the plant physiologically is changing, so it doesn't need as much water. But we remember July and August, how hot it was, and we don't turn the irrigation system down, so we saturate water, creates brown patch. So MicroLife brown patch is a fertilizer and a biological fungicide combined in one. So you can correctly feed your fall turf grass and ornamentals and have a biological fungicide, which is a safe fungicide. All chemical fungicides are extremely dangerous to be around. And so the biological part of this means it's good guys that beat up on the bad guys. A chemical fungicide doesn't recognize good or bad guys.
It just kills everything.
Yeah, it's like you and I take an antibiotic.
Right, exactly.
So very, very effective. And then this last product.
Let me move this up here.
Oh, thank you. Is MicroGrow Granular. And this is our biological fungicide without the fertilizer. So you can treat the whole yard, or you can spot treat. If you're going to plant tomatoes or peppers and you're worried about Phytophthora as a disease, but you don't want chemicals in your lawn and gardens, then you can add that at time of planting. So all these products are extremely well verified and used. I think MicroLife, when you look at all the prestigious properties that we have in Texas, and many of them don't have a lot of money, the number one fertilizer, chemical or organic, that's used in the state of Texas on your high-profile properties is MicroLife. In addition to that, it's on thousands and thousands of homes, businesses, farms, and I am very grateful to you, Bob, and to John for the opportunity to visit with you about MicroLife.
Now, Mike, one more thing. You have on your website, you have a thing called MicroLife University, and there are some great articles in there. I don't know if people want to access that, but there's some pretty good stuff on there.
Well, thank you. And you're always welcome to contribute. We'd love to have some articles from you. But we also have a photo gallery, and there's some timely articles about, and there's booklets if you want to learn how to control your weeds organically, or if you want to learn how to get proper installation or maintenance specifications, all this is on the website, and I've been told that it's extremely user-friendly. Anything that we have is downloadable, and I hope that everybody takes advantage of the resources that are available through MicroLife.
Mike, thank you so much.
My pleasure. That was a lot of fun.
Appreciate it. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. This is Gulf Coast Gardening. Stay tuned for more with Nature's Way Resources. And remember, you can come out to Nature's Way Resources for all your gardening and plant needs.